Hello, it's me, Recky. Welcome back for another severe weather reaction with your friend and buddy, Recky. We're going to go ahead and use the Weather Channel once more, and this time we're going to go to Windsor, Colorado to check out what happened on May 22nd, 2008. He says it was causing a huge amount of damage, and we're going to find out exactly what happened. I really do enjoy this in a very I enjoy watching them. I'm gonna be completely honest with you because I feel like I want to learn. For some reason, I am super interested in tornadoes. I'm playing a game called Outbreak, where you actually take on the role as a storm chaser. And I've been live multiple times with this game, and it's super exhilarating to actually be there, even though it's just a game. If you do enjoy this, don't forget to smack the like and, of course, hit that subscribe. That's something I would greatly appreciate. So please consider that. A big thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon channel membership. Thank you. Big shout out to the Supreme Tier donators over by Patreon and, of course, channel membership on YouTube. Thank you so much and God bless. Personal shout outs goes to the ultimate supporters: Deja, Walt, Dwayne, Dana, Troy, Robert, Matt, Barbara, Kathy, Sarah, and Terry. Amazing list right there. Now, let's find out what happened on May 22nd, 2008.
This storm was so black.
I'm gonna crank it up a bit. Be ready for that?
This storm was so black and so big.
Here it comes. I don't know what to do right now.
Things were flying by. We had baseball-sized hail hitting the windshields.
This is just some of the stuff that we went through and had to deal with.
I could see the direction that it was headed. It was going straight for windmill.
It said 200 kids inside with injuries.
All I could hear was the children screaming and crying.
I had my hands over the crib, telling them it was going to be okay.
I yelled out the door, "Where is my daughter? Is she okay?"
From the Weather Channel, this is Storm Stories with meteorologist Jim Cantori.
22 minutes, people. Let's do this.
Weld County, Colorado is a rural farming community about 60 miles north of Denver. Tornadoes occasionally form over these flatlands, but they're more of a spectacle than threat, quickly disappearing without causing any damage.
I've been here for 28 years and we've seen funnel clouds drop down, pop back up. Really nothing's ever of any significance.
There are no killer tornadoes on record in the county since 1928.
We've had lots of what they call rope tornadoes in the area and just south of this area, but we've not ever had to respond to anything.
That's about to change as a unique combination of weather.
Oh, they changed the music to eerie, and I got
patterns
goosebumps.
Converge,
oh,
unleashing monster twisters across the region that will subject this mostly immune area to unbelievable destruction, devastating loss, and a massive search and rescue effort.
You guys all right?
This was certainly one that you won't ever forget.
It's Thursday, May 22nd, 2008. A huge weather system sprawling from California to Colorado starts to move over the Rockies. The result is felt as far away as Los Angeles, where 4 tornadoes are reported. One, an F2, that derails a freight train. The unusual weather also strikes Arizona, where the temperature plummets, leading to an extremely rare snowstorm.
Wow. Snow in Arizona.
But it's in Colorado where the weather turns deadly. As low pressure centered over central Colorado pulls in warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico and adds wind shear, a deadly turning and strengthening of the winds that helps kickstart the Rocky Mountain Twister.
This storm was so black and so big, we saw a lot of cloud rotation.
Look at the size of this.
And we're anticipating something possibly big, but we've never seen any tornadoes of this magnitude. This is what happens in the Midwest, not in Colorado.
Making this tornado even more unusual is its huge size, its track, and the early time of day. It's estimated to be nearly a mile wide, and it moves northwest
Holy
instead of northeast, the way upper-level winds propel most tornadoes.
But that cannot be the entire tornado, can it? It cannot be. Look at this size.
The tornado doesn't have the classic funnel shape, but
Nope.
takes the form of a wedge or fat cone.
Fat cone.
Inside the ominous black cloud are EF3 winds thrashing around at an estimated 136 to 165 miles an hour. It strikes early in the day, just before 11:30 a.m. at a campsite.
And all of a sudden I noticed it was just solid black. It was like jet black. And I couldn't see any features like movement, except on the side I saw clouds going sideways like cotton candy.
Campsite manager Pete Ambrose, a Vietnam and First Gulf War veteran, knows the area is under a tornado warning. He gets in his truck and drives to where 3 campers are staying in RVs to warn them of the coming storm.
My first thought was I had campers out here. I figured I needed to make sure my campers were safe. And so that's what I did. I went out to protect them first.
Just as Ambrose gets to the campsite, the deadly swirling mass engulfs the area.
Things were flying by. We had baseball-sized hail hitting the windshields and stuff like that. And so, you know, it was just trying to get somebody to shelter and then trying to get myself to shelter.
With no time to spare, he spots one camper, friend and fellow Vietnam veteran, Mike Manchester.
I just saw Mike. I didn't see the other 2. We motioned because we couldn't talk, and he nodded like he had to go around a dirt berm to follow me. And when he did that, it just picked up and shredded his RV.
Caught in the center of the storm, Ambrose now has to think of his own safety. He gets out of his truck and heads for the nearest hope of shelter, the nearby public restroom.
I don't know how I got there. I mean, I was on my knees, I was up on my feet, I was back down on my knees. I got hit by a big, huge piece of plywood, and about a 4 or 5 inch branch hit me and set me down. All I was thinking was the restrooms were cinder blocks. I figured there was some safety in there. And so I made it into the men's side. I just hunkered down over by the sink. The women's side of the roof came off, and it was starting to take the men's side, and you could start to see a little bit of light up there, and then all of a sudden it stopped. And then when it was gone, it was gone.
Shit.
Dazed and bruised, but alive, Ambrose makes his way out of the rubble and checks on the campers.
Most of my experience I related to Vietnam, and this came pretty close to Vietnam.
Ambrose and 2 campers survive. His friend, Mike Manchester, whose RV is turned into a twisted heap of metal, dies.
No.
They figured he broke his neck right off. You know, there was nothing to do for him at all.
The local fire department is called to the scene to help the survivors, but they can't get through the downed power lines and the tornado wreckage.
We've not experienced anything big like this, and to see the damage that was there, it was just like toothpicks snapping with these telephone poles and with the larger power.
I'll never get used to seeing the the damage that they can do, even if it's just an EF or F3. And I think that if you don't know, I know now, but every time I look at one of these videos, I always get like super surprised in the way that they actually underestimate tornadoes. I would underestimate, if they said EF or F3, that means it's going to be powerful. But then we got 4. In the worst case scenario, we got a 5. And the 3 is super powerful. Like the Joplin or something like that. That's amazing.
Power line, it's just unimaginable what it would take to blow one of those things off.
I've seen cars hit some of those big steel towers with really high voltage lines, and they don't even put a dent in it. but to see one blowing over and laying down in a field is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Farms and homes are obliterated. Tractor trailers tossed around like toys.
One of the things we were called to was a semi turned over on its side. The truck driver talked about he saw the storm coming and it just picked his truck up, laid it on its side, and he was able to crawl out the window uninjured.
But this vicious storm isn't finished. The next town over, Windsor, population 16,000, is in its sight. On the highway, in between the two towns, and in the path of the tornado, is a local TV news crew, KUSA reporter Adam Chodak and photographer Gary Wolf.
That thing's headed right towards us. Holy
We had to take a picture of this. So I got out and started rolling tape. We were there about 2 minutes maybe, and I'm like, this thing might be headed right towards us, we better move.
Adam!
So I'm yelling at Adam, get somewhere safe where we can film this.
We're gonna pull a U-turn, and we're gonna head down.
I really don't like the way that this is moving. It's just a big fat wedge. And somewhere in that wedge is the tornado. And that is gnarly and it's eerie and it's actually freaking me the hell out.
They keep taping as the edge of the storm passes over, pinning them down with fierce winds and giant hail.
About that same time, the wind started coming in from behind me. It was sucking the air really hard, and then the hail started.
And the hail was coming down so hard, bam, the windshield cracked. My foot, which was still on the brake, started to shake uncontrollably.
We want to check in with 9 News Northern newsroom reporter Adam Chodak.
As soon as the tornado passes, the TV news crew goes to work.
Right here, this is just some of the stuff that we went through and had to deal with.
And I just reached down and grabbed it. I mean, it was my whole hand. It's like, and I couldn't even believe it. Like, I just wanted to stare and be like, what does this? What can actually produce this? I've never seen anything like it in my life.
About 15 minutes ago,
Andrea Mahachik is anxiously watching the tornado reports on TV in Windsor.
They said that the tornado was 5 miles east of Greeley, headed northwest. And I remember the reporters saying how unusual it was for a tornado to go in a northwesterly direction. Usually they go northeast.
Suddenly, Andrea realizes the storm
Why is there always a school? I feel like every time I watch storm stories, it's always a school getting hit.
is heading right toward the Windmill Daycare Center, where 2 of her 3 children are enrolled.
I could see the map. I could see the direction that it was headed. It was going straight for Windmill.
The biggest story of the day is yet to come.
The first thing I saw was the playground of the daycare. And so within the span of 5 seconds, your heart dropped into your stomach.
It's May 22nd, 2008, and a rare northern Colorado wedge tornado has killed a man at a campsite outside of Greeley. Next in the mile-wide storm's path of destruction is Windsor, Colorado, population 16,000. A local TV news crew covering the storm gets caught right in the middle.
And I just remember the speed at which it was traveling, and it was going right over the highway, and I was thinking, well, these people on the highway, you know, can they see it coming? Do they know to stop?
Oh my God! That would have killed.
Look at this picture right here. Look at this picture right here. I feel it's very, very difficult for me to see this and actually understand that, well, I better stop. There's a tornado in front of me. I wonder what is going through their minds. They're sitting in the car, they're driving on the highway, and they get in the same path as the tornado, and they just brake. All right, I'm going to stop here. No sense for me. If I was in that position, I would go the other way.
Can they see it coming? Do they know to stop?
Oh my God! That would have killed somebody!
At a nearby golf course, players get caught on the greens in extreme hail.
Holy
Others record the incredible storm at home.
Oh my God! Oh my God! That's a tornado right there. Here it comes. Oh my God! Wow! I don't know what to do right now.
The massive storm is heading straight for the Windmill Daycare Center in Windsor. More than 100 children and their teachers are inside.
The hail started coming down really hard, so we started getting all the kids into the middle of the building just because we were worried about the windows. At that time, we didn't know that a tornado was on its way.
Daycare director Christy Bernhardt quickly learns the tornado is barreling straight toward them. She has just one thought.
I'm responsible for 150 people. How are we going to get them all safely through this? Because this is not anything that we ever would have expected in Windsor, Colorado.
Teachers and students split up by class. Angie Ruiz and her little ones take cover in the bathroom.
This is where we brought the kids. We had 21 kids and 4 teachers, and we sat in here.
Prisha Scheid rushes into the room with 4 infants crammed into a single crib.
So I shoved the crib in here with all the babies. And I had the crib right there where the TV is, and held onto the crib.
Staff members do their best to stay calm. But then the storm slams into the daycare center and unleashes its fury.
All I heard was screaming in the background and stuff just shattering, glass breaking, stuff hitting the building, and that's when I knew the tornado was on top of us. I heard one of the directors say, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God."
Parts of the roof rip open, windows shatter, and dangerous debris swirls about.
I could feel everything hitting the back of that wall, and the toilet was just shaking like crazy. Kids were fussing. They were singing songs, Itsy Bitsy Spider, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Teachers protect the children with their bodies.
When it actually hit the building, I was in there and just laying over my staff and the children that were in there at the time. And then there was children in the gym with staff members that were just doing the same, trying to shield them from the glass.
I think you go on instinct. We knew we had to take care of these kids. That's our job.
As the storm thrashes around, the staff isn't sure they'll all make it through safely.
I thought the worst. I guess I wanted to think the worst so that if it was good, it would be okay.
They make their way out of the damage and debris.
There was glass scattered all the way from the top of the rooms all the way out into the lobby.
Playground equipment had blown through the building and landed in the toddler rooms. It's like nothing that you would ever imagine seeing. You're just a state of shock.
Many of the teachers have children of their own at the facility and have been separated. Angie Ruiz protected 21 children in the bathroom and doesn't know if her 5-year-old daughter Alicia, who took cover in the gym, is safe.
I then yelled out the door, "Where is my daughter? Is she okay? Is Alicia okay?"
The TV news crew following the storm arrives at the daycare center minutes after it's been hit.
What is this place? What is this place? Childcare.
And the first thing I saw was the playground of the daycare. And one of the tarps on one of the pieces of equipment was just whipping in the wind, all tattered.
It still looks like a solid building, though.
Everyone is still inside the daycare. The parking lot is destroyed.
All the cars in the parking lot of the daycare had been spun into each other. And it just was, like, whoa.
Firefighters are dispatched to the daycare center and fear the worst.
It said 200 kids inside with injuries. And we knew the address as a daycare center.
As the fire truck makes its way there, even the season...
Just picture being a firefighter or an EMT going towards this destination without actually knowing how much damage it actually dealt when the tornado passed through.
And firefighters
That got to be the worst feeling.
are stunned by the devastation.
It was like being in a different world. It wasn't even like being in our town because all the street signs were missing. There was no landmarks left. You're used to turning at a certain house when you're turning on left on whatever street and the house is gone.
Panicked parents, desperate for information, rush to the daycare center to see if their children are still alive.
It looked like a bomb had gone off in that parking lot.
Ooh. Tension in the weight, but it looks like the building was actually pretty much intact. So I have high hopes for everyone was okay. Everyone was okay. I feel like that's gonna be a positive. I got a positive feeling.
It's 12 noon on May 22nd, 2008 in Windsor, Colorado, when a daycare center with 130 children inside is hit by an EF3 tornado nearly a mile wide.
Look at the
All I could
size.
hear was the children, of course, screaming and crying.
Right before the storm hits, the staff and kids scatter wherever they can find cover. In the bathroom, the kitchen, the gym.
I had my hands over the crib, shaking the crib, telling him it was going to be okay, even though it was more for my sanity to say that.
When the storm passes, the staff begins a head count to see if everyone made it.
There was a lot of talking of, we're safe and we're okay.
Our teacher was piled on top of us and was squishing us. We were really uncomfortable, but that's how we keep safe.
When firefighters arrive, daycare director Christy Bernhardt tells them some of the children are injured. But incredibly, everyone appears to have survived.
Oh
A lot of it was God just watching out for us, to be honest with you.
Oh.
5 feet either way, and it probably would have been a different story.
All right, so it was just mainly top damage on the building. I can see all the windows were probably pretty much just shot out. Such a nice feeling to continue to watch this now.
The daycare is badly damaged, but still standing, unlike buildings surrounding it.
It was definitely a miracle that the daycare center survived the way it did. Because by all means, that building really should have been just as flat as the ones next to it.
It could actually be that the the building was better built, maybe, because it was it looked like a modern building.
Parents arrive, anxious to know if their children are okay.
When I saw her, we're all crying in here. And I just told him how much I loved him. And you never expect anything like this. We had no lines of communication. Our cell phones weren't working, no power, but the kids are safe. They're a little banged up. She's got bruises on her knees and on her elbows. And I'm so glad everybody's safe.
A TV news crew following the storm captures the moment.
Right now with the same story, trying to find their kids, trying to get in touch with their loved ones.
God, they were terrified because all these parents hadn't known where their kids were.
And as you can see again behind me, a lot of devastation. Windsor taking the brunt of this funnel. Kyle, Gary, back to you.
An emotional scene unfolds as more parents are reunited with their children.
I saw Krisha and I just started crying. And Krisha said everybody's okay, and they all kept assuring me everybody's okay. And I was crying, and I think I made them cry then at that point. I was shaking so bad, my fingers and toes were shaking. It was unbelievable.
Oh,
Tragedy at the daycare is averted. But the huge storm isn't as forgiving to other parts of town.
We thought we were going to be pulling bodies out of houses and stuff.
So far, we got one that lost his life. The guy with the Winnebago, whatever it calls. Only one.
An EF3 tornado,
One is enough.
nearly a mile wide, tears through Windsor, Colorado on May 22, 2008. More than 100 people are treated for injuries. Remarkably, there's only one fatality, 52-year-old Mike Manchester, who died in his RV at a campground. Insurance companies report nearly $150 million in damage, making the storm the costliest tornado in Colorado history.
Yep.
I just
Holy
hope
shit.
there's never another tornado. They're really scary.
Yep.
For the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Jim Cantori. Your local forecast is next. For the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Jim.
I want to go back to this picture here because that is freaking me the hell out. Holy. All right. We are done with this one. I hope you did enjoy. Luckily, well, both lucky and unlucky, one lost their lives. And I think that the daycare center actually managed to survive due to being a bit of modern building with a bit more concrete or whatever it is. I'm not an expert on it. Let me know what to think about this one. It was interesting, and as soon as the narrator told that no one lost their lives at the daycare center, I felt like there was a huge pressure on my shoulders, just eased off a bit, and that made me kind of happy. That made me happy. All right. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to smack the like and, of course, hit that subscribe. If you want to check out more from Storm Stories, you can check out the Weather Channel. Link for the video we just watched. And for this channel, the Weather Channel, is available down there in the description. Go there and give them the support they so much deserve. That'll do. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Recky. You stay safe.